Ah, man. Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Our second unfortunate update of the day, Heat Nation, as Serbia, in a stunner, goes down to Finland 92-86. One of the absolute favorites, a monster favorite just going into this game, the favorite of the tournament most of the way. Certainly one of the odds-on favorites, even though they did lose their captain Bogdan Bogdanovic to a hamstring injury. But Lauri Markkanen and them boys from Finland able to pull up a basketball upset of a lifetime for their country and beat Serbia 92-86. Just a tremendous performance. I mean, that team just kept just hammering away with three balls and offensive rebounds, and Serbia just could not nail their shots, especially in the fourth quarter. The three-point shooting went a little bit dry, and here we sit, man. And look, I'm happy for Finland on some regard, just because the Panthers, they are basically little Finland with Sasha Barkov, Niko Mikkola, Etu Luostarinen, um, and Anton Lundell, Mr. Las Olas. But we were here for one reason and one reason alone. Jović, dude. And quite frankly, Jokic and Jović were about the only things that showed up for Serbia today. Everybody else, not a double digit scorer amongst the rest of the squad on this team. They basically played in a lot of ways hack at Jokic. They kind of just lived with him going to the free throw line a ton. He took 19 free throws. He did miss 5 of them, which is a lot for him. He probably was exhausted by the end of this thing. He played what did he play? 34 of the 40 minutes in today's game. Joker did not get a whole hell of a lot of support from his teammates outside of Nikola Jović, who finished with 20 points. The only guy who really seemingly could hit a three today. And it was a frustrating thing. It was a frustrating thing to watch that all unravel. It felt very much like I thought Serbia. It was crazy, and this is on them, but it felt very much. We've seen a lot in these round of 16 games kind of be close, and then usually the favorite has been taken over and going to cruise control. And Finland came out of the gates in this one, just whoo, hammer it, haymakers with the threes, and they were up 10, and then all of a sudden, like, the storm got weathered. Niko had a really, really strong start to this game. And so I was like, all right, they're gonna be all right. They're going to be able to come through. Niko got on the board with some transition shots, then he got a three to kind of bring things in. He finished with 9 points, which was a team high for Serbia in the first quarter, and they were down 28-24 after being down, 10, 12 points early on in the going. Um, and like, look, he had some. I think Niko had some moments that he certainly liked back, but like not more so than anybody else. Like there were a couple turnovers that he had today. What did he finish with? I think he had a couple turnovers. One was a pick six that kind of got Finland back in it a little bit. But the big moment, I would say, after that is he made up for it. He got a huge three. He put Serbia back on top after Finland was sticking around. He put them up 43-42. Misic followed that. They got their lead to I think a game high up 4 at that point, basically going into halftime. And Jović had 12 points. It was 4-6 from the field. He had a couple from downtown. Joker had 15. Lauri Markkanen was leading the way for everybody. He got off to a fantastic start. Niko came right out of the gate out of halftime. He had another three. He found that nestled in that trust tree right there in the corner. And he'd hit a three to basically start that. And that was pretty much all you heard from him there in the third quarter. It was one of those where he did have a nice assist to Dobrich on the break, but one of the things that did hit Niko in this game was foul trouble. He was guarded Markkanen for most for a lot of the game. And he was in foul trouble. Not a lot of it was Markkanen cooking him. I mean, it was some tough shot making, but he did get a fistful of jersey on him. And man, he was not happy. One of the things that was a delight because Niko had one where he missed a three, and Finland came back, scored transition, and he fouled in transition, and he was furious with the official, and Finland went back on top. But Niko was quite animated. He was quite animated this entire series, and that was an interesting thing to see. But ultimately, I think I think if Finland, I mean, if Serbia played with a little bit more emotion and they play with that urgency that Jović seemed to have, yeah, maybe they'd be in a better place. I think there was a little bit of an arrogance from a lot of the role guys on this team. It felt very much like only Joker and Jović knew the task. Micic, I didn't love the way that he played in the second half. I especially don't like, some of the decision making. I felt like his sharing of the basketball, dude was out there acting like Serbian Dion Waiters at sometimes. Um, so that was frustrating. And then there was certainly a little bit of trepidation because he's guarding Markkanen, but he has 4 fouls in the game, and Joker also had 4 fouls. So their two big guys, their two biggest producers, really couldn't play with an aggression on defense. And man, Finland took advantage. I mean, they had some big, big time performances, not just Markkanen. I think that's probably where you got to take your hats off to Finland because everybody looks at them kind of as a one-man team, but Mika Mirinen, oh my God, this, first time I'm seeing him. I know I'm sure people who are watching international all the time are like, Toes, where you're late to the party, but this kid's 18 years old. Adam Simon, put your peepers on this guy, dude. I mean, take a note from Bill Zito and turn the Heat into Little Finland. This guy looks like an absolute player. He was showing up big in the fourth quarter, but the guy who did was Elias Valtonen. That guy hit like 4 straight big time buckets, big threes, big putback, stones to show up for Finland and basically carry this one home. Markkanen, you know, 29 points on 24 shots. Like it was a work for him. Got to the free throw line 13 times. But I mean, those role guys for Finland showing up the way they did was absolutely huge. Niko's last big moments, he had a couple of things in the fourth quarter where um it was Jović. Serbia was down 79-78. He had a good look. It wasn't all the way open, but he had a good look. He got the shot off with Markin and trying to get in front. And he misses a three with a chance to put Serbia on top. He misses that. And that was, I think, his third straight miss from three. And that was when Valtonen came back, hit the three to put them up 4. Jović would respond to make it 82-81. So he put them right back in there. Valtonen comes in out of nowhere over the trees to keep it a 3-point game. And that was all she wrote. Finland just could not I keep saying Finland. I keep screwing this up. Professional talker, ladies and gentlemen. Serbia just couldn't get any threes to drop outside of that Jović one. Um that might have been their only one, I think about it, in the fourth quarter. But just absolutely, absolutely stunning. He kept Slim Hopes alive with a little putback. There was a missed three. He got a little baby jumper on the rebound to put his scoring up to 20 points. A nice scoring performance by Jović. Again, it was basically him and Joker who showed up with the energy and the ability in this game. And the deep Serbia team did not. And a true stunner. This was one of the tournament favorites. They are out, and Finland gets one of their biggest wins. And it was funny. I think it was Markkanen. They go on. He channels Wolf of Wall Street in the middle of all of it, and he goes, "I'm not fucking leaving." So yeah, ultimately this was a tough day for Heat Nation in the EuroBasket. Obviously, it's not quite the same. Pella today. I mean, it was a reverse of a role because they were going into a situation where they're going up against Turkey. This would have been they were Finland in that case, and they nearly they nearly were able to do it. They really had some froggy moments to try in that way. Pella was banged up by the end of this game. This is a little bit different, but um I'm by no means blaming Jović. I think that Niko and Joker both had fine performances. They're just wasn't a lot of that to go around, and I think the loss of Bogdanović was a little bit too much. And it was funny, I talked to when we had Goran on this week. He's like, yeah, Slovenia doesn't want that smoke. Slovenia will be going up against Miami Heat's last hope in this tournament, which is going to be Simone Fontecchio, Italy and Slovenia in their matchup. So pretty crazy. But it was all in all, let's get with this. Awesome summer for Niko. There's no doubt about that. And, I think that the Heat, like they are with Pella, had to be thrilled with the work that he put in, with, how he stepped up in a lot of these games. And while this is a big disappointment for Serbia, don't get me wrong, he did have some really great performances against Germany, against Slovenia, against some really, really good talent in this tournament. And, there's also there's a little bit of a hierarchy on these international teams where he was playing in the moments of truth, like Eric Spoelstra wanted. Pesic definitely trusted Niko. Some of the guards, could they trust him a little bit more and give him the rock a little bit more? Yeah, I certainly think that could be the case. I think that there's a little, we're going to look at this kid and, we got to be allowing him to flourish a little bit more. But ultimately, first of all, 3-point shot looked tremendous. Saw a lot of Niko being very strong in transition, which we know is his bread and butter, but also saw a lot of times in this tournament where he was able to take advantage of size mismatches. So you saw some growth there. I mean, you could see the confidence and the boisterousness of how he plays. Like he has a swagger to him. And I'm actually curious to watch that, because I almost thought on some levels, the bit of a clutching pearls broadcast where they're like, oh, he's got to be careful what he says. But I do wonder, he did look like he had a short fuse at times. So I'm definitely going to keep note of that this year with Niko and the refs, because, he's going into this critical year. He is a young guy. It's not like they're going to love that if that happens. So I'm going to keep that's, I think, something to keep an eye on. Defensively, like the coach really trusts him. He had him on Markkanen for most of this game. A lot of versatility. They were trying to switch away from him and get Joker on Markkanen, so he'd be a little bit more comfortable at that speed advantage. So you definitely know that Pesic got that trust and the versatility that Niko is bringing defensively. We know what a fantastic, unselfish player he can be, and that was, I think it's interesting. People would look at this and they would say, hey, I want to see him with the ball in his hands a little bit more. And I would agree, because he's a good decision maker, but I would say that that's probably going to come with more age on this Serbian national team, because they have the ball in their guards' hands. But what I would say is I think it's a good facilitator to the Heat, because I think this is a lot of what he's going to be. He's going to be, cashing in on transition. He's going to have to hit open threes, and he's going to have to do it with confidence. And that's something that he talked about last year when he won the starting role. He struggled with that, and he struggled with, having a look, having the confidence to take it, and being able to that be his offense. And I think that, that was a huge part of his role on this Serbian team, and he did it really, really well. And even in this fourth quarter where he goes miss, right, even if it was a big moment where he could have put the team on top, and you have a big, a 4-point swing in that regard, well, then all of a sudden he comes right back in and he makes it a 1-point game. So you have to love that maturity from Jović and that confidence from him. And all in all, this is a stunner for sure. I think you saw some of the Serbian fans in there; they're crying their eyes out like this. I don't think that they're prepared to deal with this. I know Leroy's probably going to be happy because Jović is. I've been obsessing about EuroBasket. I had people tweeting at me like, hey, "You're not watching college football." I got the Canes coming up at 7:30. People, okay, I will get my fixing of college football. But will I be watching even Fontecchio the same way? I mean, I haven't rooted for Simone Fontecchio. I'm watching him in Italy before I have even in a Heat jersey, so I'll be rooting for him. Make no mistake, but it doesn't have the same oomph as if it would have been Jović, dude. And this is. Man, this is Serbia's lowest finish in the last 3 international tournaments. They were silver medalists in World Cup with no Joker. They were bronze medalists in the Olympics, and to get knocked out in the opening knockout round it's a stunner, dude. It is an absolute stunner. So, ultimately, I don't know. We got now he and Pella now have about 3 weeks before we get to training camp, so they can rest up a little bit. I think they're going to come into this season in tremendous shape. And man, what a friggin' upset! That was a great game today. But very, very impressed with Finland and what they were able to do.